Hi, I'm Nicole Roberts-Jones, and welcome to The Fierce Files. Now, what I know for sure is that one of life's greatest gifts will meet you when you go after your more. And so here is why I share with you thought-provoking insight and behind-the-curtain conversations with women who have reached the pinnacle of success because they went after their more. Now, I really want you to get this. One idea from these episodes can make a remarkable difference, not just in your career, but in your life. And I want to make sure you join the conversation in our Facebook group. So go to findyourfiercemovement.com. Now grab your pen and get ready for today's session of The Fierce Files. We are replaying some of our favorite episodes from season 1 and 2. So take a listen to this episode and then mark your calendars for our season 3 premiere on Wednesday, September 4th. Hello and welcome to this episode of The Fierce Files. So today I'm beyond excited to introduce to you Michelle Gadsden-Williams. Now, Michelle is Managing Director of North America Inclusion and Diversity at Accenture and has more than 25 years of experience as an advocate for equality within corporate America and a thought leader around diversity and inclusion. But here's the thing that I think is so yummy about Michelle is that she had reached a pinnacle of success in corporate and then left and became an entrepreneur and then came back. So she really does speak to all that more, the conversation around more is. So she is, in addition to that, is an author, and we're going to talk all about her book, Climb. She is a producer and a philanthropist. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you for having me, Nicole.
Excited to have you. Now, look, I'm going to be selfish and read my notes from your book. So one of the things that I absolutely love about your story is that you could have been just great with the role you had. I believe it was at Credit Suisse, and we'll talk about Credit Suisse later because my brother-in-law used to work there and you might know him. We'll talk about that off. I forgot to tell you that before we started. But anyway, so I love that, you were already at this great role doing great things and you decided, okay, there's something more, and you left and became an entrepreneur. So just and then left that and came back, right? And so just share with the ladies. Now, here's what she says in her book. And this is really what I want to kind of talk about in regards to that question. Climb is about staying true to yourself as you take every step and follow more than one path until you reach your goal and achieve your highest aspiration, whatever it may be. Woo, that was so good. So with that, tell us about you and your climb and why you chose everything you chose to do thus far in your journey.
Wow. So starting from the beginning, in terms of my career trajectory. So I started my career in marketing, did that for a number of years, and then decided that although I liked marketing, I didn't love it. And I'm the type of individual where you're not going to get the best out of me if I don't really, really enjoy what I'm doing. You're not going to get that creativity, that innovation, all of those kinds of things. So I decided to take a step back, think about, who I was. I was doing like some self-assessment and just some internal reflection around, is this what I'm supposed to be doing?
Right.
Or am I supposed to be doing something else? So I made the transition into human resources. So I worked for a company that allowed me to rotate to different parts of the business, from marketing to finance to procurement. And so I made my way all the way around the organization and I landed in HR. And my assignment was to create, at that time, diversity was not called diversity, it was affirmative action. So I needed to create an affirmative action plan for this company. So after 8 or 9 months of doing that and doing my research and speaking to those companies that were best in class in that space, I then came back, presented the strategy, and the president and the CHRO of the company said, "So do you want the job?" And I said, absolutely, yes. And that was 25 years ago. So that's how I made the transition from the business side into human capital practice.
Right.
Now, I've been doing this work a long time, and this work has taken me overseas. And, from Novartis, I went to Switzerland, what was supposed to have been a 3-year assignment. My husband and I were there almost 10 years. We loved it. And then I transitioned from big pharma into financial services, Credit Suisse. And so I was their chief diversity officer for a number of years. I repatriated back to the US in 2014 and then decided after about a year and a half, I've been doing this work a long time am I doing more of the same? Do I need to reinvent myself? So I decided after, much reflection and speaking to my mentors and sponsors and others who are invested in my potential and my success, I decided to pursue entrepreneurial ventures with my husband.
Well, now I got to stop you there because I know she's going to go on. She has more than that. But here's the thing that I want you to get, Michelle. I'm sure you get this, but all the ladies that are listening, I want you ladies to get this too, is that the thing you keep saying over and over, that you kept checking in with yourself. And oftentimes we're so busy trying to keep up with perception and who we're supposed to be, or that next corporate ladder best move, right? And what I keep hearing you say is you're checking in with yourself. It's like, what gave you that inkling to know that you needed to check in with yourself?
I think partly it was my personality. If I'm unhappy or complacent or, just coasting, that's not enough for me. I really put my heels in and understand what I'm doing, understand how it impacts the people, the culture, the business. And that's where you will get the best out of me as an employee, as an executive, as a leader. So that self-reflection and self-discovery is very much a part of who I am, just as a person in general.
And you've always been that way since you were a little girl?
Yes. I hear it from my father too. Well, both my parents, but primarily my father. It's really interesting. I tell this story quite a bit. When my twin sister and I were young, from the age of 5 up until probably last week, my father would always ask the same question every single day over oatmeal. It was like, so girls, what do you want to do? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Now that's sophisticated language for, parents to ask, kindergartners. Yeah. But that's my parents. And, that was their way of nurturing our talents. And they taught us the importance of being able to articulate and express our thoughts at a very early age. So I knew very early on, given the fact that my father's a retired executive, my mother is an entrepreneur, I knew that whatever it was that I was going to do long term, that it had to do with business. So corporate America is essentially where I landed.
Right. I love that. And then even in listening to your answer, I'm thinking about what I read in your book when you talk about building your internal brand. And here's the thing that I think is so yummy about you, Michelle, right? And you probably, I don't know if you even acknowledge this about yourself. So let me just have a sister girl celebration moment for this moment. Building your internal brand is so hard let me just use myself for an example. When you grow up, so my goal ever since I was a little girl was to be a producer in entertainment. And I got to that place and I felt like something was missing. And so I had a choice to make. I could either continue on this path that I had been dreaming about, or I could go after the thing that was sitting in my soul. And so for you, it was an easy shift to go with the thing that was sitting in your soul, which to me is building your internal brand, right? So can you share a little bit about what that means? Like, what did you have to let go of, or what did you have to say yes to do that in the landscape that is corporate America?
Yeah, and that's a terrific question. So, one of the things that I do every single year at the top of the year is I go through this mental exercise of asking myself a few questions. What are you passionate about? What is it that you want out of your career? What is it that's going to ignite that spark for you to leap up out of bed and to go into your place of employment every single day? What's going to give you that fulfillment and fill that void if there is one?
Right.
And then along with that, what feels natural? What are some of the qualities and attributes that, I want to express to the world? And so by asking myself and doing that deep dive, an internal assessment, I've come up with the same responses every single year. And I always tell people that any and everything I've ever wanted to do is to leave an organization in better condition than when I entered. That's it. I have no aspirations to be anybody's CEO, CHRO. Yes, I'm a chief diversity officer, but my title doesn't define who I am.
And you weren't even going after the title. You weren't even looking for that job. That job came looking for you.
Exactly. So it's all about, for me, it's all about passion, purpose, and power. It's, my passion is my why, and my purpose is my conviction, and they're definitely intertwined. And so when I think about my brand, and when I think about developing the next generation of leaders, I want everyone to realize their full potential and to envision what's possible. And anything is possible.
That's so good.
That's how I've arrived at my brand.
And have you found it difficult or have you ever felt opposition or pushback with Michelle being unapologetically Michelle?
Pushback, I'd say yes, but I'm not overly concerned about how and why things land the way that they land on people.
Right.
Anyone who knows me and who has worked with me or for me, I am extremely genuine and authentic in terms of how I come across to people. How I'm talking to you is how I speak to my boss, my CEO, and anybody else out there. So I don't know how to code switch.
Right.
I just don't know how to do that.
Right.
So I try to remain as consistent and just lead with integrity and intention. And I know exactly why I'm here. One of the things that my father would always say to my sisters and I is, you're not here to take up space. You're here to make a difference. And it's up to you to determine what that difference is.
I love your father. He is just,
I love him too.
and the thing I absolutely love about what he poured into you is who you be now. And I meant to say who you be, right? Because, I always say we're human beings, but we're not. We're really human doings. And we're so focused on what we do. And the difference for you, Michelle, is that you're not focused on what you do. You're focused on who you be.
Exactly. Like I know that I'm here to provide service to people. That's why I'm here. I've never chased, a title, a role, a job.
Yes.
All of these opportunities presented themselves to me. And so that the biggest lesson that I've learned over the years is, if you stay focused on your North Star, on whatever your personal, professional ambition or goal is, stay focused on that. All the other things will come. The money will come.
Yes.
The title will come. All of the accoutrements of being an executive, that will come. So don't be so squarely focused on that.
Right.
Just focus on your performance of the day and your potential in terms of sharpening your own skill and upskilling yourself. So when that promotion or whatever that stretch assignment is, when it comes along, you're ready.
And even when you decided to go out on your own and start your own business, I love how you took all of your genius, your intellectual property, and you really began to give back to other executives. Love that. So you were still true and clear, and you were still focused on your North Star. Love that. Right. And still clear and true to your internal brand.
Exactly. Although I am of service, and I know that what I do is to serve others, in that equation, I always put myself first. And that was a hard lesson. Because I think for many years, not unlike other women or other people of color, we're so used to serving others and being the caregiver of others and taking care of your teams and your family and your partner and spouse and all of those kinds of things. Sometimes you get lost in it and you don't always take care of yourself. So it's taken me a number of years to be able to say it and mean it.
And what would you say is your number one strategy? Like what is, I know for me, I have to get a massage once a month, right? That's one of the many things that I've got to do to take care of me. So what are some of the things that Michelle does to take care of Michelle?
I enjoy reading. I'm a voracious reader. I enjoy movies and the arts, vacations. I just enjoy me time because I'm around. I enjoy entertaining and going out and networking and all of those kinds of things. But there are times when I want to sit in solitude and I want to go inward and curl up with a nice book on the couch and get lost in the pages of a great book.
Yeah, I agree. I love it. I love sitting by the fire. Even in the summer, my husband's like, really? I'm like, yeah. I want the fire on. It just makes me feel cozy when I'm reading a book by the fire. I know that's crazy, but I love it. So I get it. Right. And you've given so much. First of all, you guys have to get Climb, taking every step with conviction, courage, and calculated risk to achieve a thriving career and a successful life. Go grab it. It's on Amazon, right?
Yes. Anywhere books are sold, you can find it.
Yes. So good. Such a good book.
As well.
Yay. Good. Look, I
had a conversation with someone earlier. They said to me, why did you choose Climb as the title for your book? And it's really interesting. When I think about the word climb and what that means and what it represents, it's been defined as the act of rising, to ascend, to go upward with gradual or continuous progress. And it's a term that I've used to describe my career trajectory as a woman,
right.
as a woman of color, and as a diversity practitioner. And there are some individuals, in my view, who have an easy go of it in terms of their career, and they can take the proverbial elevator up to the top.
Right.
And others, not so much.
Right.
You know, we're forced to take the stairs with a backpack and no elevator.
All right. Come on. Right.
So no matter how you ascend, there is a journey that we each experience, which, you know, twists and turns and ebbs and flows and all of those kinds of things. But with every step, you get that much closer to achieving your North Star, your highest aspiration, whatever that is.
We're going to stop here and take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back for more. Ladies, do you have your ticket for the 2019 Be the Answer 2-day intensive? Join me in Boston for an event filled with other women just like you on a mission for more. Whether that more is to get clear on how your intellectual property can and should produce your paycheck, to start your business alongside your big corporate job, or to generate more streams of income in your current business or anything in between, you need to be in the room. Log on to BeTheAnswerEvent.com and register. Listen, it's me and you for the 2 days where I give you the step-by-step acts you need to move your business into real profit right now. See, Be the Answer is an event where I give you the tools you need to create and sustain a business that you're passionate about, all while showing you how to generate multiple streams of income. I can't wait to see you there. So for the women that are listening, if you had to give them 3 steps that they must do to be clear on how to go after or focus on their North Star, what would you tell her to do?
Oh, just 3?
You get more than 3. I just said 3. That was just top of mind.
I think a couple of things. To be extremely honest with yourself in terms of what you want and having the courage and the audacity to be able to ask for what it is that you want.
That's good.
And that goes back to the conversation you and I just had around passion and purpose and power. You know, that none of that will come until you actually crystallize what it is that you envision yourself doing.
Right. You know, the thing I think that's interesting about that is in my book, Find Your Fierce, you and I have so much in common. I put together what I call a fierce framework. And really the fierce framework is the things that you are actually talking about. So it's number 1, what are you passionate about? Like, what can you do for hours upon hours upon hours and never get paid for it? You should be doing that at work because that means that you'll do it, work harder at it. It'll bring back a greater return and you'll love it. And then the second thing is, what are you proficient in? Like, what are you great at? There's no way you should be doing something that you're great at that you hate, right? Michelle Obama talked about that in her book, you know, in Becoming, she talked about being a lawyer and she realized she hated it, right? So those two have to correlate in order for you to, number 3, solve a problem. So your passion, your proficiency solves a problem out in the marketplace some kind of way. And then obviously number 4, it brings a profit to you, your business, your own bank account over time. You know, I always say you're meant to make a difference and make money while you do it. So I love that you talk about being extremely honest, because in a world where people tell us to live, and dare I say, according to what the Joneses say, only because my married last name is Jones, that we get to create our own path and we get to say what we do and do not want. Love that.
Exactly. The other thing I would say is, find your fearless self. So over the years, I've been called a corporate athlete or a daredevil or however you want to classify that. Because I know that's me. I was the type of employee, then executive, who did all of the things that everyone else wouldn't do. So, he who dares greatly.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yes.
So, give me the goggles. I'm going into the sandstorm.
I know that's right.
So that's how I've led my career. And so I have made a commitment to myself a long time ago that I'm going to live boldly and I'm going to choose courage over comfort.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So it's just really interesting. I think sometimes we are afraid, we as women, particularly women of color, sometimes we're just afraid to ask for what we want. Yeah. Afraid to ask for the raise or the promotion, afraid to ask for whatever it is that we want. And I think we have to get past the fear and go into these conversations courageous, but well-informed and doing our homework.
Yep. Because what's the worst thing that can happen? What's the absolute worst thing that can happen when you go and ask for it? Often I say, this is when I used to not be my own boss, if they fire me, then I'm not meant to be here. I'm clear.
Exactly. So, finding your fearless self, playing it safe is not an option. What got you to where you are may not get you to where you want to be.
Say that again. Somebody needs to tweet that. What got you to where you are may not get you to where you want to be.
That's right.
There's a quote by Bishop A.R. Bernard that says, the tools you've used on this level are not sufficient for your next. So if you want to expand your territory and do more, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting this different result.
Exactly.
That's good.
Exactly. And then my third would be, it's around, I don't use the term failure a lot. I think that we all make missteps, mistakes, and we learn from them. Right. So my third point would be to, leave yourself alone. Like, don't beat yourself up for things. There are, none of us are perfect. There are going to be things that go wrong, that go awry, that go off the rails, but you have to allow yourself to go through the emotions and the embarrassment or disappointment or whatever, emotions you go through after that misstep has been made. That's not going to last very long. But what you do need to do is to keep everything in perspective because it's not the end of the world. Right. Unless you cause someone to lose their life. Right. That's one thing. But in the framework of the workplace, in business, or if you're an entrepreneur, there are ways where you can recover. Yes. So I think keeping things in perspective, it's not the end of the world. Right. Pick yourself up, dust your knees off, dust your shoulders off, and keep moving forward.
And really, to me, every time you fail is an opportunity to grow.
Exactly.
Because you learn valuable lessons in the midst of failure or in the midst of messing something up. Or to me, it's not even a mess up. It's really an opportunity to redo it or do it differently.
Exactly. And if I can add one more, maybe even two.
But you said more than three. You said more than three, right?
I say, build your ecosystem of mentors, sponsors, and other individuals who are going to help you to get to wherever it is you want to be.
And the thing I want to preface or add to that is many people ask people to be their mentor. You tell me what you think about this. And it has to be someone that you already have a relationship with because people are busy. So if I don't already have a pre-existing relationship with you and you come up and say, hey, will you be my mentor? It's like, how are we going to get to know each other? It takes time. Relationships are built over time. But if you've worked on a project with someone, if they've been your coach, if you, somehow had some kind of relationship to say, can I run some of the past you as a part of that ecosystem, it's easy because I know you and I know your journey. For me to come out of the gate and don't know you, it's hard for me to give you that kind of advice.
Exactly. And then the last thing I was thinking about, and we had talked about your brand and some other things, I call it, flying stealth or below the radar is not an option. It's just not. You have to understand, once you do your deep dive assessment and you know exactly who you are and how you're showing up in the world and all those wonderful things, you need to determine whether or not you want to play at the highest levels. That's what you so choose to do. Right. And that will sometimes, it will afford you an opportunity to think about the things that you want to do and not want to do. Right. And so I think whatever it is that you decide you want to do, you have to do it in a way that's not, boastful and arrogant, but where people know what you're doing and that you did it. Right. Like we have to be able to toot our own horn a certain kind of way where it comes across as, yes, I did that. Because I think culturally, women of color, we typically don't know how to advocate for ourselves in that way. Right. We're just not wired that way. We're taught to be humble and, you keep your head down. Maybe somebody will pay attention. That's not going to do it anymore. So flying stealth below the radar and just doing a good job, no, that's not going to work. Right. Not in today's environment.
Yeah, good enough is not an option.
Not at all.
Wow, you've given us so much to think about. So number one, be extremely honest with yourself. These are my Cliff Note version because I'm talking and taking notes at the same time. So be extremely honest with yourself. Number one. Number two, find your fearless self. And here's the thing about fear. Your faith doesn't get activated until you're in the face of fear. So the only way you're going to be fearless is to tackle the fear, not act like it's not there, right? It's like go in the head of it. And as my husband would say, do the damn thing, right?
Exactly.
Number three, leave yourself alone. Stop beating yourself up. Find the lesson in every moment where you may call it a failure. It's not a failure. It's an opportunity to learn and grow, right? Number four, build your ecosystem. Surround yourself with people that will lift you up as you climb, dare I say, as her book is called Climb, right? and number five, flying stealth is not an option. Being below the radar is not an option. Woo! Yeah. You've given so much, Michelle. So as we,
can I have one more?
Of course.
This up.
Yes, this is good.
Lift others as you climb.
Yes.
I believe that it is our indelible responsibility to ensure that another person, particularly another woman of color, that she succeeds.
Yes.
It's our role to guard, protect, champion, advocate, mentor, whatever it is, where she doesn't feel like she's out there left to her own devices.
Right.
To make sure that she's going to be successful. And if we don't do that, shame on us. We are our sister's keeper, whether we want to acknowledge that or not.
That is so good. Lift as you climb. So important. And what a great way to end, because, her book is called What Climb? So listen, I'm highly recommending it because, it just shifted just my thoughts in regards to corporate. Now, I've never worked in corporate, in full disclosure, right? And so just listening to your journey and really building your internal brand and being true to it, throughout your journey has been powerful to watch, and literally is, I know, the catalyst for so many of us, me included, to continue to climb, to continue to go after our next level. So thank you for all you are and all you're doing in the world, Michelle. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, and congratulations on everything that you're doing and continued success.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Fierce Files. Now, I want you to walk away from these episodes with value, so grab your pen and answer either one or all three of these questions. Number one, what was your greatest takeaway? Number two, what will you do differently as a result of what you heard? So you may have heard something you've already heard before, or you may have learned something new. Either way, don't take the insight that was shared with you for granted. So commit to doing one thing different because of what you heard. Number three, what was confirmation for you? What did you hear that confirmed you're on the right path? See, I want you to take a moment and celebrate you. Too often in our journey, we focus on what we're not doing and we forget to celebrate what we are doing. So what was something that showed you that you're headed in the right direction? Now, I want you to share your answers. Share your answer to either number one, what was your greatest takeaway? Number two, what would you do different? Or number three, what was confirmation for you? And share it in our Facebook community. So go to findyourfiercemovement.com and use the hashtag FierceFiles. Now, each experience we encourage, support, and celebrate as a community. It allows us to expand in possibility and wisdom, in encouragement and love. Now, we've invited you into our community to deepen our journey with being the answer someone needs and in being committed to your next level. So until the next time, be extraordinary, be unapologetic, be bodaciously you, go and be fierce.